Welcome back to Prep Recruiting Insider, PRI here at NOLA Motorsports Park in Avondale. I'm the coach of PRI, Rick Gailey, here with our Prep Recruiting Insider, Mr. Renee Nadeau. And today in the Lamarck Legends of the Game, we have Michael Tobias of Riverdale and USM, the Lamarck Motor Company. There in Kenner, the big store on Williams Boulevard. Go see one of the Lamarck brothers and they will take care of you. As soon as you walk in the door, you'll see Dennis Lamarck and tell him that Rick Gailey and PRI sent you to get fitted with a Lamarck motor car. We're here with Michael Tobias, believe it or not, a defensive lineman back in the day at Riverdale and Southern Mississippi. Michael, thank you for being here on Prep Recruiting Insider.
Thank you all for having me.
Michael, recruiting show. When you came out of Riverdale, you guys had a good team there, but what was the recruiting process? You will look at Southern Miss, Tulane, some other schools. What was the recruiting process for you, Michael?
Well, the recruiting process, of course, it wasn't as big as these kids are going through now. But, you know, I was recruited by Tulane, Southern Miss, Northeast, which is Louisiana Monroe now, and maybe Nicholls State. So. But it was a long process, but it was a fun process at the same time.
Why did the light come on for the Golden Eagles?
Well, when I went to for my official visit, I just saw what I needed to see. Hanging around with the guys, I felt at home, and being a family-oriented person at a young age, I just felt that sense of family with those guys.
And before we reminisce about the days with the Rebels, Coach Jeff Bauer was the head coach at Southern Mississippi.
Yes, sir.
And something that always stood out to me with Southern Miss, and they kind of lost touch with it after Coach Bauer left, and hopefully they're getting back to it. They could identify people who would fit into their scheme, not necessarily five-star or highly recruited athletes, but they did probably the best job in the area of a school that could identify a player that would fit into their system, and that's why they went so heavily after you.
Right, there's no doubt about that. Coach Bauer did an exceptional job with recruiting. He had some of the best coaches, in the nation on his staff, and it was evident by the type of athletes that we brought to the table. So,
November 12th, 1994, Golden Eagles visit Tiger Stadium. Curly Hallman was formerly the coach at Southern Miss. He goes over to LSU. Right. Andre LaFleur is getting ready to attempt a 40-plus yard field goal to win the game for the Tigers. And on the last play, big number 94 gets penetration, gets the hand up, blocks the field goal attempt, and you guys came away with a win in Tiger Stadium. Right. And what a shocker what that was, but what an exciting time was for Southern Miss.
It was amazing for us, as that first class, for Curly Hallman. We were seniors that year, so going out like that was an awesome feeling. Number one, we tried to win, of course, every game that we played. That didn't happen, but that last game in Tiger Stadium, especially for me, being home, it was, that was a dream come true, and to put the hands up and, block that field goal, that was an awesome feeling.
You've been part of several momentous occasions, so to speak. I know exactly what you're talking about, winning a game in Tiger Stadium. I was on the Tulane staff in 1982 when we beat the Orange Bowl-bound Tigers. And just playing in Tiger Stadium is an incredible adventure, isn't it?
Yes.
And especially that little bitty locker room. Talk about some of the sidelines. People know what's going on the field, but they put you in a locker room that's the size of a bathroom, and you walk you past Mike the Tiger. Talk about some of those adventures.
It's of course it's been a long time, but I can remember being on the sideline while our offense was on the field, and you can hear behind you. The Tiger fans, giving you the business, so to speak. But yeah, and as a matter of fact, I do remember that small locker room. I don't think it was heated very well either. You know, so you know they sure know how to treat their opponents up there in Baton Rouge. So
Michael, you know, something we've talked about, and I've known you a while. You were a student athlete at Southern Mississippi, and so many young men and young ladies are going through the recruiting process in so many sports. And kind of explain to the audience right now, when you're going through the recruiting process, where you are now, and why your education had so much to do with the success and the way you are as a gentleman now.
Right. Well, yeah, you know, I talked about the recruiting process earlier. That is something. When you're going through this process, you need to make sure that's where you want to be, okay? Because what's going on with you now will definitely affect you later on in life. And I got to believe that, you know, me being a part of that Southern Miss, you know, team, and you know that family oriented, you know, school, I think that helped me, you know, now later in life, you know, with you know what I'm doing now is, you know, from a work standpoint, but definitely getting your education is huge. Please, whatever you do, get your education. You know, sports will only last so long, and you know, eventually, you know, you have to face the reality of the real world, and it can be a very, very cold world if you don't get your education. And you know, that's what I would say to the kids. You know, education number one, making sure you're doing the right things all the time. The small things are what's going to carry you through.
As we've said very many times on this program, and we promote, an education allows you to be what you want to be rather than what someone will let you be. That it's okay to be able to speak the language, to be able to write in complete sentences,
right,
and to make a good presentation.
Absolutely.
It allows you to be what you want to be.
Absolutely.
And that started way back. It didn't just start at Southern Miss. It started way back,
yes,
with your upbringing, because at Riverdale, not just with the education, but their football program wasn't very good. But the class, when you started there for Riverdale, really started to turn things around. I was at Bonneville as the offensive coordinator when you played, and I know that turnaround with a good friend of mine from the past. Well, I started my coaching career with, in 1974, Coach Jimmy Camout.
Right. Yeah. You know, Coach Camout, he did a great job, you know, with us, you know, as student athletes. A very, very, very dear man. You know, carry him right here. You know, we talk every so often. I mostly keep in contact with his son, you know, but I'm always asking about Coach, you know. So he is an awesome man.
And Michael, right now you're the chief security at the Western Canal right now?
Yes, I'm the director of security at the Western New Orleans Canal Place. I've been there for 15 years. Was it easy when I first started out? No, but you know, as you grow as a person, you know, things tend to get easier for you, and it's a great place to be.
Well, Michael, thank you for being here with us. And one other person we need to mention that's both near and dear to you and I, and that's Coach Charlie Hall, who was Michael's position coach at Riverdale. And I worked with at Tulane. We have an all-points bulletin out for Coach Hall. Yeah. Anybody who knows where he is, tell him to get in touch with me so we can have him here, just like Michael Tobias, a legend of the game. A Lamarck legend of the game. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you guys for having me.
And we are here at NOLA Motorsports Park. That was a Lamarck legend of the game. Come here for world-class karting. They won't be open tomorrow because of the cold, but they'll be open after that. We'll be right back after this timeout.